It's no secret that Sword Art Online skyrocketed in popularity when it released, and like with anything popular, so did the hate. We can attribute this to just people wanting to hate anything mainstream, and I'm sure that is some people's case, but when we get to the root cause, what really rumbles these Redditors' sweaty undies? I've been a fan of Sword Art Online for 6 or 7 years now, and I've come across all sorts of overexcited, adamant defenders of their hatred for this show. From what I can gather, a lot of these people fall into two categories, one more respectable than the other. The lowest of these groups I like to call the anime purists. This group isn't exclusive to SAO either. Oh no, these gremlins are all over the place. If you aren't watching your anime in Japan, wearing a kimono, and eating using chopsticks at one of those small Japanese tables, then these folks will find you and put a katana through some part of you. These salty fellows just hate the idea of you watching a show that isn't some obscure anime from 20 years ago, and if you're watching it dubbed, you have committed the ultimate sin. Enjoying your anime is one thing, but when someone else is enjoying their anime, and you feel the need to tell them to stop having fun because they are watching it or watching it wrong instantly makes them no longer want to watch that anime. You kill the fun for everyone. Please don't be these people. Now let's get to the main anti-SAO folks. The most complaints I see from people about SAO is Kirito. He is labeled as a boring plot armor protagonist, and honestly, I can agree with that to some extent. Kirito certainly has plot armor and he will never die in any situation, that's just how it is. But that definitely is not exclusive to just Sword Art Online, looking at Luffy from One Piece for example. But that is not an issue. Luffy will never die because the show revolves around him. He cannot be replaced and the show would not thrive without him. The same goes for Kirito. Imagine SAO without Kirito? It just wouldn't make sense. You would anger absolutely everyone and kill off the show while you're at it. But when we get to the boring part of this argument, this is a more character-specific issue. Kirito is boring, I do not deny that. He was created to be boring. He is a loner teenager who plays video games all day, so it is okay for him to be boring, but we of course need some sort of character progression. That's where I think the argument doesn't make much sense to me. Sure, he's boring and nerdy at the beginning of the show, but there is huge character development that happens throughout the show. The biggest example that comes to me is the love he develops for Asuna, which flowers into a full-blown slice-of-life love arc. So much emotion and character comes out in that time, and a lot of the moments in the show really make Kirito shine and show his hidden emotional side, giving us, the viewers, a much better look at who this guy is and what he ends up fighting for. So the boring argument does make sense for a bit, but it also kind of tells me you haven't seen enough of the full story to judge the character, and that is perfectly okay. If you watched a few episodes and it wasn't for you, there is no reason to keep at it. The other big anti-SAO point that comes up a lot is the harem aspect. If you don't know what harem means, it's when a guy is surrounded by a lot of babes that all drool over him. And once again, I can't fully disagree with that point. There are a lot of female characters in the show that do simp a bit for Kirito, and it is honestly a little strange at times. It seems Kirito has some sort of magical simp power where any lady he interacts with becomes hypnotized and needs to be involved in his life. The defense I can give against this point is that these girls aren't outwardly romantic towards Kirito. They aren't trying to bang him constantly or anything like that. You can just tell that there are feelings for him. They're also very much their own characters. They aren't used solely for the purpose of having someone to drool over Kirito. Lisbeth, for example, felt something for Kirito, but her character is a million times more than that. She's the best stable, straight-minded smithy you can find. She isn't some quirky, dumb girl blinded by love. This goes for all the excellent female characters. Shinan, Suguha, Alice, all of these girls had feelings for Kirito, but have their own fantastic character development and are kick-ass in their own right. So while the harem point holds some weight, I think simply saying that the show is a harem is very misleading and a disservice to all of the great supporting female characters. If you are someone that adamantly hates Sword Art, please let me know why. I know I didn't cover nearly all the points I see out in the wild, but I just wanted to cover the main complaints that cross my way while I'm perusing the web. Thanks for watching the video, and hey, if you enjoyed it, a like and a subscription help out a ton, plus they're free. So long.